Did you know that over 70% of people admit to experiencing public humiliation at least once in their lives? Humiliation doesn't just hurt emotionally. It can actually diminish your confidence and self-esteem. Some studies even suggest it's one of the primary reasons people face anxiety in social situations. When we find ourselves in such situations, many of us freeze or, worse, lash out, only to regret it later. But what if I told you there are responses that could completely change the game? Responses that not only neutralize the humiliation, but also maintain your dignity and even earn you respect? Humiliation is something we've all been through at some point, and let's face it, it never feels good. Whether it's a sarcastic remark about your work, a supposed friend making a private joke at your expense, or even strangers trolling you online, these moments can shake us to the core. And honestly, no one teaches us how to handle them. We're often told to brush it off or stand up for ourselves. But what do those even mean? Brushing it off often leaves you feeling small, and standing up for yourself can easily escalate the situation. So, here's where the challenge begins. How do you shut down humiliation calmly, effectively, and with dignity? That's exactly what we're going to uncover today. In this video, we'll dive into some psychological techniques inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. These strategies won't just help you face humiliating situations with poise, they'll also help you earn respect from those around you. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be ready to tackle whatever life throws at you. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss another insightful video like this. Let's get started. The psychology of humiliation. Why do people humiliate others? It's a question many of us ponder after being on the receiving end of a sharp comment or an icy glare. At first glance, it might seem like the attack is all about you, your actions, personality, or flaws. But the reality is, humiliation is often more about the person doing the humiliating than it is about you. At its core, humiliation is a power move, a tactic used to assert dominance or feel superior in the moment. Consider the grumpy coworker who calls you out in a meeting, the family member cracking a joke at your expense, or the stranger online hurling an unprovoked insult. Their actions typically stem from a desire to elevate themselves in the eyes of others, even if that means putting you down. And this behavior rarely comes from a place of genuine strength. It's often rooted in insecurity. People who humiliate others are often struggling with their own fears and inadequacies, and their insults act as a shield, distracting from their vulnerabilities by casting a spotlight on you. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that truly confident individuals rarely humiliate others? Real strength is quiet, steady, and uplifting, not harsh or diminishing. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When it comes to humiliation, this is where the game changes. You can't always control what others say or do, but their actions don't need to dictate your emotions or your response. The key takeaway here is, humiliation only holds power if you let it. When someone tries to belittle you, they're giving you a choice. Do you allow their words to define your worth, or do you see their behavior for what it is? A reflection of their internal struggles, not a measure of your value. The Stoics teach us that while we can't change external events, we can control how we interpret and respond to them. That control is where your true power lies. So the next time someone attempts to humiliate you, take a deep breath and remember, their behavior says everything about them and nothing about you. Your response, however, speaks volumes about your strength, character, and your ability to command respect. The calm gaze technique. Imagine you're at a family dinner, surrounded by familiar faces. Someone throws a sharp remark your way. It's subtle but clearly meant to hurt. All eyes are on you, waiting for your reaction. You have a choice. You can either engage in a verbal battle and fire back, or, here's where the power lies, you can stay calm, unfazed, and simply hold their gaze. This is the calm gaze technique. It may seem simple, but its impact is profound. When someone insults or humiliates you, Your instinct may be to defend yourself or to retaliate, but doing so hands them the power. They've successfully drawn you into their game. Instead, let your body language do the talking. Your posture, expression, and eye contact can convey strength without uttering a single word. By maintaining steady, calm eye contact, you send a message. Their words don't affect you. You're not rattled or intimidated. Your silence, paired with a quiet strength, communicates more than any sharp response could. This mirrors the Stoic concept of apatheia, being unaffected by external forces. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you remain composed in the face of an attempt to humiliate you, the calm gaze technique doesn't happen overnight. You protect your emotional state from the external chaos around you. Start with low-stakes situations, like with a colleague or in casual social settings. Over time, it will become second nature, and your confidence in handling humiliation will grow. The calm gaze isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering your inner state so that others can't manipulate it. The repeat the joke method. The repeat the joke method is another deceptively simple but highly effective technique when dealing with someone who tries to humiliate you with humor. When someone cracks a joke at your expense, instead of reacting defensively, ask them to repeat it. It might sound odd, but here's why it works. By asking them to repeat their joke, you not only neutralize it, but also highlight how inappropriate it is. The person who tries to humiliate you with a joke often expects to see you squirm or get defensive. By calmly asking them to repeat it, you shift the dynamic. The joke suddenly loses its bite and becomes awkward, forcing the person to confront the absurdity of their words. The room may shift focus from you to them, and their attempt to humiliate you backfires. I remember a time at a social gathering when a friend tried to embarrass me by sharing an old story. Instead of getting upset, I calmly asked them to repeat it. After they did, the humor lost its impact, and I regained control of the moment. The shift in focus made me feel empowered. This technique is rooted in emotional composure, which Stoicism encourages. By calmly asking them to repeat their remark, you turn their attempt at humiliation into an opportunity to demonstrate your control over your emotions. Redirection with a neutral question. Sometimes, the best response to humiliation isn't to react at all. It's to change the topic. This method, known as redirection with a neutral question, allows you to shift the conversation away from negativity and onto something completely unrelated. It's an effective way to take control of the situation without engaging in drama. Let's say someone at a dinner party makes a cutting remark about your career or appearance. Instead of getting defensive, try introducing a neutral, unrelated question. Something like, "By the way, has anyone tried that new Italian restaurant downtown? I've heard great things about it." Suddenly the conversation has shifted, and the focus is no longer on you. It forces the other person to either continue making themselves uncomfortable or join in on a new topic. This technique is not about avoiding confrontation. It's about choosing to redirect the conversation to avoid fueling negativity. By shifting focus, you take back control without any conflict. It's a reflection of Stoic philosophy, controlling your responses and focusing on what you can change. Finally, sometimes the most powerful response to humiliation is simply to walk away. This doesn't mean running from conflict or admitting defeat. It means choosing to protect your peace and dignity. Walking away signals that you value yourself too much to stay in a situation that disrespects you. I recall a time when a close friend constantly belittled me. After enduring too much, I chose to leave rather than continue to subject myself to their negativity. Walking away felt empowering because it was a reminder that I don't have to stay in situations that diminish my worth. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." By walking away from negativity, you take back your power and protect your peace. It's not about avoiding conflict, it's about choosing what is best for your mental and emotional well-being. Why these techniques work? So why do these techniques work? They shift the dynamics of respect. By mastering your responses, you take control of the situation and regain your power. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control others' actions, We have absolute control over how we respond. Each technique is about maintaining your dignity, reclaiming your power, and building resilience. Remember, humiliation only has power if you let it. Practice these techniques, and you'll find that your response to humiliation becomes your greatest strength. You don't need to fight back, simply rise above with composure and grace. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced humiliation, and how did you handle it? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else. Don't forget to subscribe and check out more videos to continue empowering yourself. The best version of you is waiting, and the journey starts now.